Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, back with another episode of Unpopular Opinions, my weekly show where I break down all of the top Bravo news and moments of the week, and of course, give my opinions on them all.
That's my opinion!
We have so much to cover this week. I feel like I say that every week, but this week I really mean it because we have news coming from pretty much every city of the Real Housewives, as well as some Peacock updates surrounding Love Island and the Traitors. And as always, I'm going to break it all down and give my opinions about it all. But before I dive in, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news. Okay, before we jump into all of the drama going down in the Housewives universe, let's cover a few updates regarding some Peacock shows. The first of which, Love Island USA. You guys know I am a Love Island USA super fan, and I was so excited to find out that Andy Cohen was going to be joining Ariana in hosting this year's reunion. Well, that reunion filmed this past week, and we have some spoilers that are making me so excited for this reunion. Guys, it is airing next Monday, August 25th. So make sure you guys tune into that on Peacock, but let's go over what we know so far about the reunion taping. So we actually saw almost every Islander arriving at the reunion. They filmed it in New York at some studios. We saw Andy arrive, Ariana arrive, almost every Islander but Huda. And that, of course, made social media go absolutely crazy because we all know at this point, Huda is basically the villain of the show. I'm not really sure who she even still keeps up with in the cast other than Amaya. But of course, everybody was jumping to the conclusion, is Huda skipping the reunion? Now, I almost started to believe this at first because we did not see her arrive. And let's be real, she has a lot to answer for at this reunion. We were getting a few updates throughout the day, but no one mentioned anything about Huda. We got this photo of Ariana and Andy, which I am absolutely obsessed with. And then, of course, as he always does, Andy Cohen hopped on Instagram stories mid-reunion to give us an update.
Guys, Love Island reunions are no joke. We are on dinner break. It is 9:45. We're going back in there soon. This reunion, it's good. And everybody's here. And I'm having so much fun with Ariana. She's amazing. And you know what? I like hosting a reunion with her. It's really fun. So anyway, Daddy needs some coffee or something.
Confirming everyone showed up, including Huda. So obviously the rumors got around to them, and leave it to Andy to clear them all up. He was definitely giving major props to Ariana as well, which continued on his radio show, Radio Andy, the following morning, where he spilled even more tea and what we could expect from the reunion.
So now I'm coming in cold to Love Island, just as a fan, which, by the way, talk about being able to live your fantasy. Just imagine being able to watch a whole series and then you have the privilege to host the reunion. And they say you and Ariana are going to do it together. I want to tell you, and I've talked a lot about Ariana and how much I love her as a host of the show. And I just think her tone is so right. And it's so great. And before the actual reunion, we were shooting something special. And I was like, you know what? The fandom of Love Island is so big. This is like one of those things someone would, at one of those fancy New York City auctions where they auction once in a lifetime experiences. This would go for a lot of money, being able to do this. Don't take this for granted. Anyway, I feel like the fans are going to be really happy. I don't want to give any spoilers. There were several unseen moments played at the Love Island reunion that I think will clear up a few fan conspiracies and cleared things up for some of the Islanders. I believe we really touched, all the hot button issues and a lot of the stuff that has happened outside of the villa once they left. A lot of the stuff that's happened on social media. We found out where everybody is today.
Okay, so not only are we going to cover everything that has happened since the Islanders left the villa, guys, we are going to be getting the unseen clips that we have been begging for since the show ended. And I'm talking about, of course, the heart rate challenge. Now, this is really where things went sideways for Huda. Of course, yes, she had her crash outs throughout the season multiple times, but this is really where the divide began between her and the other girls. But looks like we're going to see what actually happened in that moment. I also bet you guys we are also going to see what really went down when Jeremiah got voted out of the villa, because that was a lot of drama going on. That was when the whole Ace leader rumor started going on. And I really want to see what was going on between Nick, Taylor, and Ace in that moment. I definitely think a lot of tea is going to be spilled at this reunion. I do think that Andy is going to bring something to the reunion that Ariana can't. And hear me out. I feel like Ariana is kind of like protective over these Islanders. She kind of sees them more as friends than as, Andy kind of sees them as people to interview and people to ask questions and answer for things that they've done throughout the season. Andy knows how to get an answer out of somebody because he's been doing Housewives reunions for over a decade at this point. So I think that he might be able to get answers that Ariana wouldn't be comfortable going for. However, I am a little bit concerned because from the interviews that we've seen, most of the Islanders have not even watched the show back. They don't really know what we as viewers have seen of them. Of course, they lived it, so they know what happened, but they don't know what other people were saying about them, what maybe other people were talking about in conversations that they weren't a part of. Like the majority of the Islanders, they don't have time for that. They are booked and busy. They are doing press tour after press tour, podcast interviews. They have not watched the show, guys. So I wonder if that is going to play into how the reunion kind of comes off, because most of the time on Housewives reunions, they have seen the entire season and can speak to what people are saying in confessionals, what people are saying behind their backs, etc. So after a full day of taping, we finally saw Huda exit the venue. And guys, it was like the Beatles were leaving the venue in New York. People were literally chasing after her car. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then the following day, celebrity hairstylist Chris Appleton posts a TikTok and shows that he actually did Huda's hair for the reunion. Lover or hater, guys, this girl is making it big. I would say she is definitely, while she's not my personal favorite, you guys know I am a Nicolandria stan, she has certainly made a name for herself coming out of the show. And I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. I am so excited for this reunion, but that is not the only exciting thing we have coming to Peacock, because I don't know if you guys saw this headline, but Peacock has announced that they are going to be doing an all-civilian Traitors season next season. Variety reported the Traitors coming to NBC with a non-celebrity season. We're excited to bring along the Traitors' highly addictive fan base as we discover the next generation of legendary gamers and schemers. With our resident host and gameplay master of ceremonies, Alan Cumming, on board to introduce complete strangers to new epic missions and twisted gameplay, this new version for NBC offers a unique opportunity for the cast and audience to meet each other for the first time, and we know it will be incredible to watch. So I'm actually so here for this. Of course, I love watching my Housewives and Bravo celebrities at that round table. I am so excited for this upcoming season with Lisa Rinna and Dorinda. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there are rumors going around that Rinna is absolutely legendary during next season. But I think a civilian season is going to be absolutely fabulous. If you think about it, all of the iconic game players that we have from shows like Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge, they were nobodies before they were cast on those shows. And now they're pretty much reality TV royalty. So I am excited that Peacock is kind of giving the opportunity for regular people to get into this gameplay. I've seen a lot of people already applying online. And as much as I love this show, I don't think I would be very good at it. So I am going to leave that to the game players, but I will be watching. Okay, now let's jump over to all of the updates in the world of the Real Housewives. And let's start in one of my favorite housewife cities, and that is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, because the season 6 trailer dropped this week, guys. And I could not be more excited. Here's the thing about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, guys. These women always show up. Every single season, they understand the assignment. The friendships are constantly shifting, new alliances are being formed, and there's always at least like 3 wild storylines going on that keep me on the edge of my seat. I don't know what it is about them too, but they go low, but they go low in like the campiest way. For one, they're mostly in costume, and they give us the absolute wildest one-liners. I mean, gout dick sucker, like, yeah, that is a low blow, but you can't help but laugh at that. There is literally never a filler episode. They bring it every single episode, and you truly never know where it's going. Like, it is the most unpredictable Real Housewives franchise. I mean, a lot of the times going into a season of the Real Housewives, we know what to expect. We know what feuds are going on. We know things have been leaked on the internet. Nothing ever gets leaked from the Salt Lake City Housewives. We never know what's happening. Like, case in point, the Monica Garcia season. We didn't know that any of that was going to happen. We were all absolutely shook when we found out the identity of Reality Von Teese. And just when you thought they couldn't top that, they bring us another epic season, and I just know they're going to do it again. We've got Mary versus Angie K, Lisa Barlow versus Angie K, Lisa Barlow versus Bronwyn, Meredith versus Whitney. I mean, we've got so many feuds. You don't know which way to look. It sounds like Lisa Barlow's businesses and lawsuits are coming into question. We've got new mistress rumors going around. Of course, Bronwyn and Todd are a topic of conversation again. But I do have to point out one thing. Where are Heather and Whitney? They are barely in the trailer. Like, Whitney is not even like, I don't think she even has one line in the trailer. But I'm okay with that, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of Whitney. I did not like how she ended last season, reading that text about Lisa Barlow. I see you, Whitney. I know what you were trying to do there. You were trying to bring that up on camera when literally no one knew anything about that as a last-ditch effort to make a storyline. And sorry, no one bought it. I am absolutely living for Lisa Barlow and Meredith being friends again. Good weather, 100%. I mean, the fact that they can go from you fucked half of New York to being besties again, chef's kiss. That's why I love this show. So we have that to look forward to coming up on September 16th. I am so excited. Let me know if you guys are as well. Okay, let's jump from Salt Lake City to Orange County, because you guys better be tuning in to our weekly recaps. But we have an update after last week's episode, and it's got to do with Gretchen and Tamra, because even though they kind of seem to be maybe heading towards a better place, in real time, that's not even coming close, guys. So a sneak peek for next week's episode of Orange County was released, and it shows the women basically talking about Tamra quitting the show the night before and the post that she posted on Instagram. Tamra's basically saying that she had to leave the show due to her mental health, and the ladies aren't really buying it, because they're pretty much saying, if you gotta leave for your mental health, that's fine, but why do you need to post it on social media? There's probably some ulterior motive here, right? Well, Tamra is clapping back to that, and then Gretchen also has something to say about it. Tamra reposted the sneak peek and said, "God forbid you guys ever have to deal with the pain and depression I was dealing with. They wonder why I left. Maybe I should have gotten a DUI to feel compassion." So basically, Tamra is using Teddy as a scapegoat once again and throwing Shannon under the bus in the process. But Gretchen is absolutely not having it, because she released a statement reacting to that post. Her statement reads, "Yes, Tamra, I have actually dealt with the pain and depression you are talking about, and it was horrible. Remember, my fiance actually died, and Slade's son actually died from cancer, but you had not 1 ounce of grace for us. Instead, you spun lies about me and Jeff and plotted with the guy who I took to court and now have 7 counts against and over $1 million judgment to cause me pain and suffering during that time. And then you went on your podcast and made false statements about Slade and I after his son died and spin lies about us again, with no remorse for your actions, only excuses like you always do. You never gave us grace, and you never gave your bestie Shannon grace when she was going through the worst time in her life. Instead, you buddied up to Alexis and called Shannon every name in the book last year. So this is pretty rich coming from you. I mean, where are the lies? Can anybody point out a lie in that statement? No lies detected. Gretchen clocked it 100%. I feel like I have been saying the same exact thing for over a year, ever since last season. Look, I know that Tamra is going through a rough time with Teddy. If my best friend was going through what Teddy was going through, I would also be an absolute mess. But that is not an excuse to treat people poorly or to play the victim all of a sudden because of your own actions. Gretchen is 100% right. All of these women have gone through stuff, yet Tamra has showed them zero grace whatsoever. In fact, she's done the exact opposite and has basically piled on and made what they are going through even worse than it already was. So I am really glad that someone is finally here to clock Tamra and put her in her place. And I feel like Gretchen is just really filling that void that we needed on this franchise. I don't know, guys. I am loving Gretchen so far in this season. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so we've got legal matters and illegal acts going on in pretty much every single Bravo show at this moment. And we've got another lawsuit that might be coming Bravo's way. And that's going to be from Todd from The Real Housewives of Miami. Yes, Alexia's on again, off again husband at this point. So this season of Miami is absolutely delivering. And of course, we are following the tumultuous relationship of Alexia and Todd. Of course, they are a main topic of the conversation. Todd has stepped back from the camera, though. Obviously, he has not been filming this season. But his wife is still on the show and is, of course, going to be talking about their relationship, as well as the other women. However, it seems like Todd is not too happy about this and is not too happy about he is being portrayed. Therefore, he is coming after ... The Real Housewives producers? He filmed this video and posted it on Instagram. Now, I am going to spare you from watching that, but I am going to read his caption because it pretty much explains his reasoning, which makes absolutely zero sense. His statement reads, "Dear RHOM producers, I tried to stay silent. I truly did. I believe that by stepping back, I was taking the high road, letting you tell your story, even when it was wildly false and deeply manipulated. But enough is enough. Your lies, bullying, and behind-the-scenes extortion tactics have gone too far. For years, I allowed you to paint a fictional version of me because I loved my wife and I didn't want to get involved in your circus. I thought staying quiet would protect my peace, but you've crossed a line. Call me names, twist the truth, suggest whatever you want about my character. But the second you dared portray me as someone who doesn't care about my stepson, a young man living with a brain injury, you revealed who you really are. This season, it's obvious. Your entire storyline revolves around attacking me and one woman, a cancer survivor, no less. You've allowed gang-style pile-ons, physical violence, gaslighting, microaggressions, and racially charged comments to go unchecked. You've enabled cruelty, encouraged hate, and turned mean-spiritedness into entertainment. This is what you promote. This is your brand. And if this is what you proudly do for a living, I hope your families are proud. But here's the truth you can't edit out. RHOM has the lowest ratings of any Housewives franchise ever, one of the lowest performing shows on all of Bravo. I now understand that if I don't stand up for myself, you'll never stop. You'll keep running with these lies for as long as you have a platform. While I have hoped this would fade and I could quietly return to my private life, it's clear I have to end this story myself. So let me be clear. I will not only challenge these lies, I guarantee I will silence them once and for all." Now, before we get into the absolute audacity of this man, I do have to give him credit for standing up for Gertie because he is right about the physical assault and the gang style, gang up on Gertie, because I do not stand for that by any means. However, what is he talking about that the producers are the ones manipulating a storyline where he didn't care for his stepson? Didn't Alexia say that on camera and bring that on camera that Todd literally left their condo while Frankie was sitting there watching it all unfold? How are producers manipulating that storyline when it literally came out of Alexia's mouth word for word? We would not even know that happened if it weren't for her telling us about it. So why is he blaming production for saying all of these things when it literally came out of his wife's mouth? Todd, it sounds like your problem is not with production, but with your current wife, and you are choosing to take it out on production. She is the one that is portraying you in a certain light, not anybody else. Sure, of course, the cast is talking about you, but it is based upon what Alexia is telling them. So I don't know where all of this behind the scenes manipulation is happening. Obviously, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes, but I can see as clear as day that you are being portrayed because of how your wife is talking about you on the show and not how production is editing together these episodes. And if he thought for 1 second that this was not going to be a storyline on the show, I'm sorry, Todd. I thought you were like a successful businessman, but only somebody with a peanut for a brain would think that. Of course, they're going to be talking about it. You were on the show last season and you got divorced from your wife only to then not go through the divorce and stay with her. And I don't know, whatever the hell you guys are doing right now. But to blame this on Bravo, I mean, give me an absolute break. Alexia, please get away from this man. He seems like nothing but trouble. And I guarantee you it's just going to keep coming. Save your family, get out, and move on. In the words of Andy, let's switch gears. Because speaking of reconciliations, did you guys see that PK and Dorit were actually spotted together this week? It was actually after that viral photo of her on Rodeo Drive with the allegedly used Hermes bags. Yeah, so I guess TMZ spotted her that day shopping, but they did do a quick interview with her in which she said most days she does not see her and PK getting back together, but you never know.
There are days where I think I can't imagine that ever being possible. But
okay.
you never know. You never know.
Then that same night, because she is in the same outfit, she is spotted having dinner with PK. And this was not filmed for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, even though they are filming this season right now. Now, of course, this doesn't say that they are getting back together, but last we heard, they were really not in a good place. Like, I don't think that they would actually really be in a place where they would go to dinner together or go have a meal together. Anything they would do to talk about co-parenting or the kids or etc. would probably be done in a more professional manner or a more private manner, not at a dinner table. So if they were spotted together at dinner, what does this mean? I definitely think that this was not filmed because PK is kind of pulling a Todd this season. I am going to be surprised if we actually see him, seeing as how he was portrayed last season and that letter that he wrote at the reunion, which was absolutely ridiculous. But they knew that TMZ was around because they had interviewed Dorit in the same day. So of course they wanted to make headlines with this. So what does this mean? Is this going to be a storyline on the upcoming season? Are the ladies going to bring up, oh, you were spotted with PK? Are you guys getting back together? I don't know, guys. I think there might be a chance that they could get back together. Am I crazy? I mean, I don't know. We've heard some really bad things about their relationship, but there was no infidelity in the relationship. It doesn't really sound like any one of them. There wasn't like a straw that broke the camel's back. There was a lot of mistreatment going. I think some jealousy. I think some, they didn't like how their lifestyles were evolving. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they got back together. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I am excited to see it all play out on next season. And for the final story this week, we have some new updates regarding the Real Housewives of New Jersey cast for next season. So I know I talked about this last week, but Joe Gorga was spotted at Dolores' charity baseball game, basically saying that him and Melissa were coming back to the franchise. I think everybody decided to just take this with a grain of salt. It doesn't seem like anybody is taking this seriously, but a new blind item has dropped that pretty much confirms this. Bravo and Cocktails didn't ask me anything, in which somebody asked, any news on the Real Housewives of New Jersey? They replied and said, we discuss it on this week's pod, but I'm hearing Melissa, Dolo, Marge, and newbies. So that definitely aligns with what Joe Gorga was saying. Allegedly, Bravo has chosen Melissa to spearhead the new reboot with Dolores and Margaret Josephs, along with some other newbies. Now, I told you guys I didn't really know how I felt about this last week, and I'm still in the same boat. I don't know, hearing this doesn't make me feel great about the future of this franchise, I have to admit. I do not think Bravo is going to be letting Teresa go. I do think it's kind of, I don't know if you guys saw this, but when Matt Rogers was on Watch What Happens Live, basically what he was saying he wanted to happen was Melissa to spearhead the reboot and Teresa to get her own show. Now, I'm kind of all about this, except for one thing. And that one thing's name is Luis Ruelas. I never want to see Louis on my TV screen again. And if Teresa was going to be a part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, there would be a small chance that she would be able to do that without us seeing Louis. However, if Teresa is getting her own spinoff, that is going to rely heavily on her and Louis and the family relationship and dynamics. And that is absolutely what I do not want. So I was kind of hoping it might be the other way around. Maybe Teresa would spearhead the reboot and we'd get some sort of spinoff. I don't know if Melissa could carry her own show. But I don't know, guys. Do you really think that this is true? Do you really think that Bravo is going to let go of the Queen of New Jersey? I mean, Teresa Giudice is the epitome of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. You think that they would just let her go and choose Melissa to spearhead this new franchise? I'm just not sure I really believe that, guys. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate, and I'm not Team Melissa or Team Teresa. I think that they both have something to bring to the table, but I'm just not sure that Melissa is strong enough as a main character to lead this franchise into its future. But let me know what you guys think. Are you happy with this decision, allegedly, if it's happening, with Melissa to move forward with Margaret and Dolores? Or would you rather see Teresa and friends? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Well, that's it for this week. A little programming update. We will be skipping next week's recap and episode of Unpopular Opinions. I'm going to be out of town, going back to Orlando to visit my family. So unfortunately, I will be taking the week off. But we have so much to look forward to. The Love Island reunion is going to be airing, as well as new episodes of Miami and OC. So make sure you guys are tuned into that. And I will be back the following week to cover them all. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, drop your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.